Hey everybody, it's the R&B Show. Can you dig it? And now, here's the People's Champs, Ricardo and Brett.
Thank you for that, Rosie. And as always, you're doing a fantastic job here as the producer engineer of our R&B podcast, now episode number 19, the only podcast dedicated to high school sports in the Fox Valley area. As usual, I'm hanging out with not only Rosie, but with my co-host, Brett Christopherson, both of USA Today Network Wisconsin. An interesting week so far for us anyway, and we're going to get right to some of these topics. A couple of things that are on the docket for today. Red Smith Awards. I'm going to just do a quick recap of that because there are some high school elements there. Hoops talk. Going to talk about some of the top teams.
Getting hot and heavy, isn't it?
It is getting hot and heavy. Some of the rankings and stuff that came down as well. Then we're going to switch quickly over to wrestling. And Tim Johnson did a piece on the dwindling numbers or perceived dwindling numbers of wrestling. I don't know if that really affects our area so much, but we'll talk about it a little bit.
It doesn't affect Kaukauna.
Doesn't affect Kaukauna, definitely not.
They got numbers.
and then we're going to transition quickly to the end of the show as we talk about January week coming up next week. Brett, you'll give us a lowdown of matchups and things, maybe what to expect. So a lot of stuff to talk about. And how was your week this past week, though, Brett? How you feeling, man? I know you've been a little under the weather.
I'm not really under the weather. I just can't quite shake this cough, a little congestion, but I actually feel good.
Okay, great.
I just can't get. It's just a little bit lingering cough. So if I apologize if I start hacking here next to you. So I'm
no, that's okay. Just kind of try to cover your mic. We don't have a kill switch, that'll stop that. But
how was your week?
My week was great. No complaints. And in Rosie, I'm sure everything's fine for you, right?
Hey, everything is just wonderful.
Had a 3-day weekend,
can't
right?
complain. Yeah, it was great. Yeah. I was coming from like a week and a half off anyways, and I'm like, I don't feel back into it. I had one day off, and now I feel really refreshed.
He's ready. He's
ready
for the grind.
It's interesting that you say 3-day weekend because that is a little bit of a topic here as we talk about the Red Smith Awards. First off, nice event always held over there at the Paper Valley Hotel. Put together Joe Ornstein, as you know. We've known him for a while and do a great job over there. A couple of the, I guess, can I call them dignitaries? Or what exactly do I call them? Celebrities,
Sports
okay.
Celebrities.
Yes, Andre Dawson, ex-Cubs great, and a 21-year career for the Hawk. He was there, as well as Mark Tauscher, UW, or I should say Wisconsin football great.
Central Wisconsin legend.
Yes, Central Wisconsin legend for
our
sure.
neck of the woods.
And,
exactly.
And not only that, a Packer, a staple
at
the Packers. I think it was right tackle he played for a long time. Ended his career as a Super Bowl champion. Muggsy Bogues was there.
You could actually look down at Muggsy.
I know, one of the few NBA players that I can actually kind of. He's not talking. He just literally. He's not talking about figuratively, But
he could still school you.
Oh yeah, he could definitely still.
He'd break your ankles.
Definitely still school me. Yes, that's right.
How many years did Dawson play with the Expos before he went to the
11.
11 years.
That's a good question. Do you think of Andre Dawson as an Expo?
I always think of him as an Expo. I
tell you, he thinks of himself as a Cub.
Does he?
Does he?
Because
okay.
remember, the Expos decided not to re-sign him.
I know, but I'm going to look up his stats.
Go ahead,
play
look
in
up his
Montreal longer?
Oh, he did. I just said 11 years at Montreal, 6 years with the Cubs.
Is that what you said? Okay.
I love those Expos hats too. Those are great.
And then he finished up his career with the Red Sox, and then as well with the Marlins. But 400 plus home runs, I think 1,500 or so RBI. He really had a tremendous career. It was fun to talk to him because I've known him or I've known of him for a long time. Obviously, he grew up in my era. There, I think he made the playoffs one year with the Cubs. I think it was '89, the '89 year they had there. But great guy to talk to. Tauscher, by the way, and this is what I want to talk to you, Brett. I started off my interview with Tauscher about his days playing hoops for Auburndale. Back in the day, he loved it. He goes, let's just talk about hoops and basketball. I could talk all day, basically, about Auburndale and hoops and playing back then. I basically asked him this: Mark, should there be a shot clock?
You got his take on that?
Well, yeah, and that's going to be in tomorrow's paper. By the way, I'm doing like an extended kind of notes thing. We just did a quick thing for today's section and everything, but he said no. No on the shot clock. So we don't need the shot clock in the high school game in Wisconsin at all. He said that just would be a bad decision to make.
That's a smart man.
Tausch must have played for Tim Anderson.
Yes.
Scott Anderson's father, Scott being the Spash coach, former
right.
Neenah coach, former UW-Stevens Point standout. So Tim Anderson's a legend over there, legend among Wisconsin high school basketball coaches. One of the winningest coaches actually in state history, if you look it up, Tim Anderson.
Okay.
So, can you imagine Mark Tauscher on the block? Big 300-pound guy. How are you going to move? I bet you he had a soft touch too.
Let me tell you, I remembered Tauscher. This is I'm showing my age a little bit here, because at the time they were a D3 power. Auburndale, I think they went to state back-to-back years. My brother was playing for Amro, which at the time was a state power as well. So we always kind of knew the D3 teams. You know how this goes, Brett. You're kind of familiar with the teams in your division, that your family plays with. And Auburndale was one team that we had seen in the off season at tournaments and things. And Amro had a bigger kid too. That was kind of very similar in terms of build to Tauscher. So we kept on thinking, man, if they ever meet at state, it'd be the two big, like when planets collide. You know what I mean? It's one of those kind of things. They both kind of, had a nice touch and things like that. So we kind of talked about that, and that would be a cool matchup. Never made it till the following year. Amro in '97, I think they won the state title. But it was cool to think about. But I always remembered Tauscher, and I remembered him walking on. Was it a walk-on? I can't remember what it was over at UW, and then becoming just a fantastic player for the Badgers and the Packers.
If I remember correctly, I think that his first game that he appeared in was in the Jacksonville game in his rookie season. I thought whoever played the right tackle got hurt. So that's when Jacksonville had like Tony Brackens on one side, and I can't remember who the other one was on the other side. And I believe Brackens said, I want to swap because I want to get through this guy. He's a rookie. I'm going to school him. I'm going to get like 4 sacks on 5.
Couldn't do it.
Could not get around him. So finally, apparently, he switched back and he said, I don't know what's with that doughboy, but I cannot get around him.
You know who he might have was? That was like '99 or 2000, right around that time. So I wonder if it was Earl Dotson maybe at the time. Maybe was he still playing with the Packers at that point?
I'd have to look up.
Right tackle.
Either that or
either way,
those bad draft picks.
Right away made an impact, right? Mark Tauscher. So
right
it was a great interview. Fun time to talk to him. I did want to quickly say about Muggsy Bogues. Now, Mike Sherry talked about Muggsy Bogues. Muggsy made an appearance at Kimberly High School.
Yesterday morning.
Oh,
and,
wow.
One of the things he was shocked at was that they were not off for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I think he was a little miffed at that.
Really?
Maybe a little bit upset that maybe, kind of insinuating maybe that they don't take it seriously, that he felt every school should have off. I know schools in Madison, schools in Milwaukee were off for Martin Luther King.
Green Bay was, too.
And Green Bay was, too. You're right on that. But, like, the Appleton area was not. My son was at school. Kimberly, obviously, and I think most schools around our area, not off for that day. So I thought that was very...
And we had off. It was a paid holiday for us.
Yes, and for us, we did have a paid...
And it's a federal holiday.
I thought it was odd.
So
they had school.
Muggsy not happy. Not happy that in his opinion, I think he felt that it was a little bit of a slight.
I think it should
I think he's right.
I think he's right on, too. I think...
So word out to Appleton Area School District and the Kimberly Area School District. Folks understand and they're watching that if you guys aren't paying attention to maybe kind of putting yourself in another person's shoes and in their eyes respect that maybe that day should be off. I felt it was very telling. He took quite an offense to that. Yeah. So interesting. But then he was also the guest speaker for Kimberly, so he kind of took him to task a little bit.
I want them to respect Dr. King, man. Give him the day off.
Yeah, exactly.
Day off.
Did you guys ask Muggsy Bogues? I believe he was a teammate of Tony Bennett at Charlotte.
Yeah.
The Charlotte Hornets.
I wouldn't know. I did not interview him. Mike Sherry did.
Okay,
so
I'll
we'll
have to ask
him.
Mike Sherry because Tony Bennett, of course, the Green Bay Preble star.
Yep.
UW Green Bay star,
Yep.
draft pick of the Hornets, and now the head coach of the number 2 ranked Virginia Cavaliers.
Fantastic coach.
Oh, number 2. What happened in West Virginia? Did they drop a little bit?
They dropped a little bit.
Okay.
Villanova's one of Virginia's 2, so the 2 V schools. But don't also forget Tony Bennett, a P.J. Jacobs legend.
Wow,
P.J.
Jacobs.
Junior high. Stevens Point legend.
All right. You always find a way to pipe in Stevens.
So when did they move? Why didn't he go to Spash? They must have moved, so he went to Preble?
Dick went to UW Green Bay.
Okay.
Stevens Point. By the way, I'm going to get a Spash nugget in. Did you guys hear Joey Hauser graduating
Yes, that is
early?
true.
I heard this morning via you.
Enrolling in Marquette. Classes begin right away Monday, so he's done. He's done with high school. We won't even get to see him at January week.
It was a good move. I mean, there's no reason for him to be now. I mean, obviously out for the year with his injury. So yeah, just head down to Marquette, get ready for your collegiate career.
Yeah, he'll redshirt obviously, but he's also going to get a lot of treatment now on that ankle. So I mean, he's going from a student athlete, and I'm sorry NCAA, but now he's becoming an athlete student.
Yeah.
So they're gonna treat his ankle and get that all ready to go, and get some classes under his belt, be around the team. It is a good move. I mean, if you know you're not going to play high school basketball anymore, although his presence with the program just in and of itself, I would think would be beneficial for Scott Anderson and Spash. They miss him, but Drew Blair, he's a sharpshooter. We're going to see him at January week. A guy that's in the Mr. Basketball conversation right now.
Who?
Drew Blair.
No.
Yes,
no,
he is.
No.
Yes.
He should. No, look,
Listen.
I have all the respect in the world for Spash.
Stop. Stop.
And for Drew Blair.
You can't interrupt me when I'm in the middle of
Okay.
He's on a roll, man. Let him go. Let him go.
I will offer my thoughts on this.
He won't win it, but he's in the conversation for it. He is averaging almost 31 points a game, and he's going to play at a very highly respected Division II program at University of Minnesota Duluth. The other finalists, I'm sure, will be Halliburton, Hero, and McCabe. And one of those three will win it. It's probably going to be between McCabe and Hero. And my guess is Tyler Hero is going to win it.
But I think Blair can be in the conversation.
I don't know if he can be in the conversation.
Oh,
I'll be quite frank about that because of the way the team is structured. He's shooting on. Yeah, that's like saying the kid from was it Ronald Reagan? I can't remember what division he's playing in. Also being looked at it by Division II schools. He's averaging out. I forgot how many points it was. It was like in the 30s.
Drew Blair's a very good shooter.
I mean, come on. I mean,
he's a good shooter.
Hey,
yeah,
we've seen Blair light it up twice.
Yeah.
In the sectional championship against Appleton West, and then last year against Oshkosh North. He's dead-eye on fire.
Well,
one of the better shooters
in
the
game,
state.
Yeah, the championship games
comes from
too.
good lineage too. Is his father and uncle, Eau Claire legends, great shooters back in their time.
Well, let's come back to this podcast 4 years from now and let's see where everyone was at.
Well, Tyler Hero will be in the NBA because he's going to Kentucky.
He's going to Kentucky. I don't know if he'll be in the NBA, but yeah.
Well, I think he's got aspirations, and we'll see about Jordan McCabe and what he does in West Virginia. And I would think Joey Hauser's probably got an NBA opportunity down the line.
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
Wow. He's a great shooter. There's no doubt about that. But when I look at him, and then when I look at Halliburton, to me, there's no question who I would rather have on my team in terms of what he can do when considering everything.
No, that's fair.
Halliburton versus who?
Blair.
Oh,
yeah. See, that's my point.
Cherries too.
So you're saying in the conversation,
I'm saying that Mark Miller has listed his name as a contender.
Okay, all right. Well,
I'm going to defer to Mark Miller when it comes to state basketball commentary.
That is a nice cop out because I disagreed with Miller last week talking about McCabe when other folks who has been covering this as long as Mark Miller has, i.e. Robert Hernandez, agreed with me that the excitement over McCabe didn't hit what it was around Okie. See, so you can have both ends of the spectrum there, Brett. Just letting you know, Mark Miller isn't the be-all, end-all of high school basketball.
I highly respect his opinion.
I do as well, but I've also covered this for 20+ years, and I like to think that I know a little bit about the game.
Of course.
What about like either Ferris or name escapes me Plowman from Xavier?
Well, see,
not complete enough, or
well, that's my point. Is that you look at what Hunter Plowman does? Why would Hunter Plowman not be in the conversation over Drew Blair, who's really more of a shooter than anything else?
He just was listed as in the conversation. Okay. He will not win Mr. Basketball.
I didn't say that. I'm saying that you should have Plowman in the conversation.
He could be in the conversation,
over Blair. But look, we're getting off on a tangent
my
here.
My guess is it's going to be Tyler Hero as your Mr. Basketball.
Okay.
That's my guess.
And that would be, in my opinion, that's a safe pick. But in my opinion, if McCabe wins D2 or Halliburton wins D1, but I think that's actually decided before. Isn't it?
Yeah.
See, that's where I like the Associate Press Award because we include the postseason, which I think is the most important part of the season.
Yeah.
You're in it to win it, not just put up stats in a regular season game. But okay, we'll have more of a conversation as that moves along. We'll transition to hoops because Oshkosh North still number 1, Brett,
but
despite taking the loss. Kimberly was number 2, but they were upset by Oshkosh West. What happened? No, I agree with you. Now listen, Oshkosh West has some good guards. They have some good players. They can do a lot of good things, and they did actually play a pretty competitive game against Oshkosh North. I remember earlier in the year, but I think I was shocked at this. You were shocked at this, and I don't know. It's not time to panic or anything for Kimberly, but the FEA, they always talk about how strong a league it is. Brett,
excuse me.
I think you saw a little bit of the proof is in the pudding right there, huh?
That cough's going to sound great on audio, by the way.
It is, yeah.
I apologize for all the listeners. I can't help it. No, it is. Well, listen.
You don't even have any water over there. Okay.
I do. I got the FEA standings here. You got Oshkosh North 9-1, Kaukauna 9-1, Kimberly 8-2. Those clearly are still the 3 best teams in that league. But I do remember Lucky Wirtz talking to us about it during a Kimberly football game. I was asking about how the conference is looking. And he said, Oshkosh West, don't sleep on these guys. They're tough, and they come out. Was a 56-54 victory for the Wildcats last night. So an upset, no doubt about it. But given the fact that, again, a man who I respect, Lucky Wirtz, in his opinion, he thought very highly of Oshkosh West and the talent that they have. Oshkosh West struggling at 5-5 in the conference, 7-5 overall, but it was down there at Oshkosh.
Yeah.
And they caught Kimberly. That's the beauty of the FEA, especially the top half. those teams can they can slip in a victory all of a sudden unexpectedly. It's a great league.
How does the rest of the FVA roll out after North, Kaukauna, and Kimberly?
Well, you got Appleton West is 5-4, Oshkosh West 5-5, Hortonville 4-6, Neenah 4-6, Fondy 3-7, Appleton East 2-8, and then Appleton North 0-9.
I agree with Brett. It's clear when you look at the standings, the top three, and then everybody else.
Yeah.
Oshkosh West is one of those teams, though, that is competitive with everyone,
Yeah.
and then you need a couple things to go your way, which is obviously the case. Must have happened down there in Oshkosh. But in terms of looking at long-term, though, I still think those three teams, obviously the class of the league.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, we're expecting Kaukauna to get to state. We're expecting either Oshkosh North or
Right,
Kimberly
one of
to
those
get to
two
state,
teams.
because my guess, I think we all agree that those two, based on the sectional, and now that Kimberly's up at the north, they're not going south.
Yeah.
Those two teams likely meet with Spash and Hauser no longer in the mix
Yep.
for the sectional championship at Marshfield High School.
Yep. And we'll be there.
Yes.
We will likely be there.
Okay.
We'll be
All
in
right.
the cavernous Marshfield High School gymnasium again.
That would be
Yeah.
an incredible,
And then
nice long trip too for you
and
guys.
then Rosie from there is going to go down to Wisconsin Rapids like he always
Yeah.
does. And spend
Or
the
no, we go to
weekend.
Point. We go
We
to,
go to Point.
Plover, actually. So
And then Ricardo, you're never there. I
No,
don't
because
know.
I'll be last year I covered Kaukauna on the Cedarburg. I'm expecting that
So
to be a possible matchup too.
So anybody out there that wants to hang out with me and Rosie
Yeah.
at Marshfield High School for the
That's
sectional
right.
final, Kimberly Oshkosh North, likely.
Coach Nisus.
Yeah, maybe the coach.
yeah.
Saw Dave Mader last night. Maybe Big Dave would like to hang
Yeah.
out.
There you go. Love
been
Dave.
a while.
Love Dave
Speaking
Mader.
of which, another big game. Congratulations to Little Shoot, a 52-51
Yes.
victory over Freedom. Last-second bucket by Big Sawyer Huss down underneath. That's a good win for the Mustangs.
And I was actually we're going to kind of segue into that, Brett, and we might as well start with Little Shoot. I mean, I forgot what they started, but they've been on quite a roll.
They were 0-3 now.
Right,
won 9
and
straight.
they've been on quite a roll, and it's always I'm always very, very tickled when I see teams that start poorly and then put together that run, kind of putting everything together, because this is, as a coach, what you want to see. You want to see things kind of come together. You're kind of orchestrating everything, and then you got your seniors kind of helping out and putting things and helping some of these younger players. Look at them. I mean, they're in the mix now for the NEC title. It's great to see, I guess, progression throughout the season. You can actually see it when you look at the standings, Brett.
Well, and again, talk about another top-heavy conference. Check out the Northeastern. Little Shoot, Wrightstown, Marinette, all at the top at 7-1, and then Freedom at 6-2. Although overall, Freedom is 7-5. So those were the top four teams coming in. The thing about Little Shoot, started out 0-3, kind of a young team. A lot of juniors on the team getting minutes. A couple starters now. Or Justin Job is moving into a starting role as a guard, along with Noah Miller, a sharpshooter. But Little Shoot, I think it was kind of benefited them that they were playing a lot of the lower half teams in the league, kind of ease in, kind of know your roles, define your roles, and now hitting their stride and taking on a Freedom team coached by John Myron, longtime coach, defensive-minded coach, and it was a back-and-forth game. The gymnasium was crazy, and I was very impressed that with Little Shoot that they didn't seem to wilt under the pressure of trying to win a big game on the road. So Big Sawyer Huss, big body underneath. You know him from
Yeah,
football.
of course, yeah.
Tough to guard on the block. You don't want to run into him when he's setting a screen.
Oh, man. I love the big guys, and they're showing some depth down underneath.
And he's always
man.
got that smile on his face.
Yeah.
He's always a happy kid. But good win for them. However, they've got kind of a gauntlet coming. They have Marinette on Friday at Marinette. Marinette's got some really good juniors. Wagner's an excellent shooter. You got Petzel and who's the other kid? Now I'm losing my Petzel. Went.
Okay.
Really a three-pronged attack with Marinette, and they're putting it together. They're 10-2 overall. When's the last time you've seen something positive out of Marinette athletics? So they have a nice group, a nice junior class that's going to be tough, and then of course they move up to D2 in the playoffs. And then after that, next Tuesday, then Little Shoot hosts Wrightstown.
Wow, another big one.
It's gonna. I thought this would be the stretch that kind of sets the table not only for Little Shoot but for the rest of the teams in the upper half of that Northeastern Conference.
Yeah,
because the bottom half, Ricardo, Clintonville's really struggling. O'Connell Falls is really struggling. Wapaka's really struggling. So these are the games you got to win to set yourself up to make a postseason run. But keep in mind who's waiting there in the playoffs in D3.
Right. I was unfortunately going to have to bring that up because as great as they have been playing, eventually, sooner or later, you're going to have to run into Xavier, and they have been playing lights out. the entire season. Brett, I think it's almost. I think do you think maybe we're taking them a little bit for granted? They are, they're winning these games. I think the state is taking them for granted maybe a little bit. It's hard to say that because they've won 40 games in a row. I can't remember how many it was, but it's kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, well, Xavier won again.
You know why I think that is because they make it look easy.
Yeah.
That game we streamed against, was it West Pier
at
the Torch?
Yep, West Pier.
And they hit 90, and it didn't seem like they had scored 90-some points.
No.
That's how easy they made it look. In fact, I thought there were stretches where they were struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
They didn't really hit their stride, and yet all of a sudden 36 minutes is in the book, and it's like, wow, they had 90-plus points.
Well,
so
weren't they hovering around 60, and all of a sudden we look up again, and it's 85? What the heck happened?
It was just methodical. It was surgical. When you got the guard play of Ferris and Plowman, two highly skilled point guards.
Yep.
Okay, they can both handle the ball, and they're both so skilled. They can pass, they can dribble, they can set things up through dribble drive, kick out, or they're good finishers. They can shoot threes themselves. Defensively, they're gnats, and they get offense off of the turnovers, off of defensive plays. And they play fast, So you just sort of, I think you do take them for granted just because it's like, well, they're doing what they always do, and they're scoring what they always score, and it's just another game for Xavier. It's kind of like Kimberly football. Do we take them for granted that they won 5 straight state titles and 70 games overall? Yeah, we do. We should actually be kind of step back from the moment, because 5 years from now we're going to look back and think, dang, that was a heck of a run. Same with Jordan McCabe.
Yeah.
Do we take him for granted?
Yes.
Yes, we do. He's one of the best high school players that has ever come out of the Fox Cities. You're not going to see another kid like him generating the buzz, like Mark Miller said, and just a showman.
Yeah, for a while.
We're going to miss this stuff, and I think that's a great point, Ricardo. You got to step back and just appreciate the greatness that we're seeing. You need to talk because I'm about ready to cough.
I had one question for you guys. Do you think that
sorry, guys,
Xavier's going to play with a chip on their shoulder, even though they won't say anything about it, because it'd be like having this no respect thing?
Well, I hope that's the case.
So.
And I actually hope that's the case, but it's hard. It's going to be hard for Klarna to tell that to his kids, the me against the world, when they're the number 1 ranked team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of put that.
Yeah.
It's more a matter if I'm Klarna. It's just about you gentlemen know what to do. You guys have been in the big games before. Let's just get it done.
I don't think there's a chip on their shoulder. I think it's just like, we're good. We know we're good. We're the best team in the state.
Yeah.
We're the defending champs. Come try to beat us. I think there's a swagger. I think there's a confidence. There's not a cockiness with these kids.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to say. Are they going to get
they
overconfident?
They walk on the floor, and they can look across, and they can know that they can beat any team in Division III in the state of Wisconsin. That is a fact, okay?
Yeah.
They are that good right now. And that system, and you've talked about that system, it is hard to prepare for.
Very much so.
Because they are always on the go, and they pressure you.
Yeah.
They deny passing lanes. They're in your face. Even off ball, they're in your face. They just don't. Yeah, their conditioning's fantastic. They're deep. And now you have the emergence of a kid like Nick Otto, who's stepping out and hitting threes. Henry Egan, we know what he likes to do, and
no weakness.
The game and they're not really a weakness. They got DeYoung inside for size, but it all starts and ends though with Sam Ferris and Hunter Plowman because of how good they are handling the basketball. I've said it before. When you have one skilled point guard on your high school team, that's a great thing. Matt Klarner has 2. That can not only handle the ball, but they can push tempo, push pace in handling the ball. That's hard to defend.
An embarrassment of riches for Xavier, but you know another team that has an embarrassment of riches? Appleton North girls basketball, as we segue a little bit into the girls side of it. Last week they beat Kimberly. They beat Hortonville. And yet another 2 big wins for North. Battle-tested, very similar to Xavier in that way. Obviously, last defending Division I state champs. In the rankings, they're back at number 1. They're in number 2 for a week. Then you have Kimberly also in the top 10 for D1.
7.
Yeah, and then Seymour in D2, Hortonville in D2, Wrightstown in D3. By the way, I gave Wrightstown a first-place vote. Shiocton also in the top 10 for Division 4. So the girls' hoops kind of humming along a little bit there and doing what they're doing. But that was a big win for Appleton North. They're in the driver's seat when it comes to the FVA.
Girls basketball, they're kind of hitting their stretch run here. I mean, you look at some of the 13 games in, 14 games in. Spash, by the way, ranked 9th on the Division I
yes,
girls.
They are.
Oh.
Yeah, I
they're
gave
already
them a top 10
15 games
vote.
in, so they only have 7 games to play.
By the way, number 4, Oak Creek, I believe they play Kimberly, I want to say, on the 20th. of January. So that's a big game at Kimberly, by the way. So a top 10 battle of top 10 teams.
Appleton North has a big game coming up non-conference at Milwaukee Kings.
Yes, that's January 27th, and we'll talk a little bit about January week as that comes up. Small chance I might go down there, Brad. Remember we were talking about this before because I reached out to our friends in the southeastern part of the state, Journal Sentinel, and the newspapers down there if they're going to be covering that. I haven't gotten a positive yes from that yet, so we'll see how that kind of unfolds. But I expect it to be a good game, though, either way, if I'm there or if I'm not. But yeah, we'll switch real quick to wrestling before we run out of time here. Tim Johnson, our friend up in the Central Group, had a piece on dwindling numbers in wrestling. Talk of maybe reducing weight classes to kind of prevent there being so many forfeits and things like that for some of these schools that cannot fill out an entire lineup. That's always been a problem, though. I remember 20 years ago that was a problem, even with the 12 divisions or 12 weight classes. I'm sorry, you still saw forfeits. In my opinion, I don't think the sport. Now, again, we are in a hotbed for wrestling, though. I think we would all agree.
It's hard to see.
It's hard to visually see it when you see so many of our wrestlers do so many great things. Right. We have Wrightstown, we have Freedom that's very good.
Kaukauna.
Appleton North always has, and then obviously the Platinum program is Kaukauna Wrestling. I guess, in my opinion, I think there are too many weight classes. I think they should go back down to 12 because you see it goes from 220 to 285, and for the big guys, how come they're not showing any big guys any love? How come we don't have 225 and then like 240 or something? No, you got to have 106, 113. And then they go like 132, 138. There's like 6 pounds in the lighter weights, but then the heavyweights. Oh, if you're a fat kid, then you're real fat, and then you're doing this weight class. You know what I mean? But for the smaller classes, if you eat a Tootsie Roll or something, that bumps you up to the next class.
Hey, when you said the fat kid, how come you looked at me and pointed?
No, I was thinking of myself. I meant as I've experienced that.
Fat?
Kidding me, dude? You know how many? What are those? The candy that's hard that you have to. That makes you lose weight. I forgot what it was called. The little red, green. You know what I'm talking about? Is it Brock candies? I can't remember what it was. What? Anyway, when I was in wrestling in 8th grade, even then we had to watch our weight a little bit. I remember having to, take a couple of those that would force you to spit.
Oh, okay.
We kind of lose weight that way.
Interesting.
Besides running up and down the stairs and everything to kind of get down. I forgot what it was, like 181 or whatever it was at the time, but. It was always an interesting thing where you had to do anything you could to lose those last couple pounds or whatever. But if you have less divisions, you don't have that much to worry about then. But in my opinion, that's how you boost the numbers. If you're going to do anything, it should start with that, reducing it to 12 divisions instead of the 14 they have now.
So much respect for wrestlers. I mean,
yes.
grueling sport, and it's one-on-one, and you're out there, and that's tough. You got to be mentally tough because you get beat. It can be demoralizing. You get pinned. It can be demoralizing, and you wouldn't think, what is it, a 6-minute match, 2 minutes per period, that would be. Ugh. Yeah. You're gassed after 6 minutes of hard wrestling.
Heck, even when I was in high school, which was way back when they think they still had pay phones and corner stores, things like that.
Back when you were playing Pong
in
the video game.
You know what I should do next week Wednesday? You and me wrestle. Well, let's give a little demonstration. Let's see who wins the wrestling match.
Oh.
What are you in at? What's your weight?
My weight would be, if you give me a little bit of time, I could get down under 195. You give me a couple weeks. I'd have to cut off a couple fingers.
Okay.
But hey, by the way, it's Jolly Ranchers.
Jolly Ranchers.
We would have those. It forced you to kind of accumulate saliva, and then we'd spit into a cup and stuff like that. It was so stupid. Believe me, it was like dinosaur age what we were doing.
What was that wrestling movie back in the 80s? I remember that was.
I know which one you're talking about.
Vision Quest.
Vision Quest, yeah.
Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Now, we didn't have rubber suits or whatever.
Yeah, I know.
Or anything like that.
Remember his nose started to bleed?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Like dehydrated.
Yeah,
but it was easy
Matthew
for me.
Modine.
As always a chubby kid, it was easy for me to drop weight because a lot of my weight was just water weight or whatever like that. So that's why they made you do that. Or you didn't have to do that. That's just what you did, one of the tricks of the trade.
You're telling me that in 2 weeks you could get down to 195?
I think I could.
Really?
Wow.
If I had to. It would have to be a severe Atkins. Have you ever tried Atkins? By
Celery
the way?
and water.
You could easily lose 20 pounds in like 2 or 3 weeks with Atkins. Easily. That's what the Hollywood folks do.
Yeah,
when you got to get down cut.
Just don't eat as much.
No, it doesn't work that way.
Eat, but just don't eat as much and be active.
You're not going to.
Hey.
If you're talking about long range, yeah, but I'm talking about in a short amount of time. No.
I got a bike trainer for Christmas, where I can actually take my bike, pop it up on, and I got a trainer tire too. Love it.
Okay, what does that have to do with this?
It means I'm
Oh,
I'm
okay.
losing
So he
weight.
lose
I'm
weight that way.
exercising. I got
Alright.
that little space heater in the
Okay.
basement to get it nice and warm.
There
I
you
put a
go.
hat on
Yeah.
and I'm sweating like a pig.
Yeah,
I
see?
tell you what, I can lose weight quick.
I bet you probably could.
And then I
Rehydrate.
go upstairs and I eat like a bunch of cookies and
Yeah, there you
And
go.
bowl
Yeah.
of cereal.
Yeah.
I eat my bowl of
A lot of
cereal at
carbs.
night.
Yeah. Any water in there at all?
I
or-
drink. I'm
Oh,
trying
okay.
to
He drinks
drink
water
more
all the
water.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well, let's switch over to January week. We were getting off on
Yeah,
a tangent again.
January.
January week again. A great idea, Brett. You started this way back when. What year did you come up with this idea? It was a while ago. Fantastic idea, and we've had it every year since, where we dedicate a week of basketball to live streams, to coverage, to special coverage as well, because we're having, I believe I just talked to Seymour girls. They're coming on the show next Wednesday.
Good.
So they're going to be on the show as we kind of, give our area basketball teams some extended love with January week.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly. It's been a while now. But basically, the idea behind it was because January, the month, can get so long, Rosie.
It can.
January's the worst month of the year.
It
Let's
is.
just put it out there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it stinks.
I feel bad for the month of January because nobody likes it.
No.
Right? Nobody
Yeah.
likes
I
January.
do. My birthday's in
Yeah,
January.
we don't
Well,
care about
okay.
you. But what I'm telling you, you get to post-holiday stuff, and then it's just winter.
Yeah.
Right, and it's snow
Yeah.
and it's cold. So I was trying to break up the monotony of the month of January. So it was just us getting out of the office
Yeah.
and doing a week of basketball streams, and it's been a lot of fun. It's this wall-to-wall high school basketball coverage, including the Wednesday Varsity Roundtable show where we showcase hoops. Now next Tuesday, it's going to be Appleton North and Appleton West girls. Right?
Okay.
At Appleton North, yeah.
At Appleton
That's the
North
first
High
time
School.
we've streamed there in a while.
Yeah, and everything seems to be set up.
Okay.
That's a 6 o'clock tip, by the way, as well.
That's at Appleton West, you said?
Appleton North.
Appleton North, okay.
So I wanted to get the top-ranked Lightning. We've already done Kimberly and Hortonville on the girls' side, so I want to get Appleton North. And then Appleton West got a pretty solid program, too,
Yeah.
on the girls' side under Jim Brown. Then Wednesday's Varsity Roundtable, you mentioned the
Seymour girls
are
will be
coming in,
here.
so back-to-back girls
There you go.
high school coverage. And then we're kicking over to next Saturday, January 27th. We are going to stream 3 games that day from the Wisconsin-Minnesota border battle. We're going to Spash. Can I say that? I
You
mean,
can.
I've said it enough. My alma
Spash.
mater. I can't wait to see my statue when I walk into the gymnasium.
It's crazy.
Big statue. We're calling it the Brett Christopherson Center now.
I call them Stevens Point High School.
No, you can't. It's Stevens Point Area Senior High.
It's kind of like the Rocky Balboa statue
Nah,
in
there's no such-
Philly for those
Stevens
that haven't
Point.
seen
It's
it.
Stevens Point to me.
No, you know what the statue is? It would be just me sitting on a bench like this, doing nothing. But I'm telling you, it's going to be fun. We got Xavier's going to be there playing a Minnesota school. I don't have the schedule in front of me. And then Kakana is going to play a Minnesota school. Those are back-to-back games. Then Lacrosse Central, I believe, is playing a game. Well, we won't be streaming that one.
Yeah.
But then we'll come back then for the nightcap with Spash is taking on, I think, Minnehaha Academy.
Yeah,
So
Minnehaha Academy,
there's
got
Minnetonka's in there.
Minnetonka,
I think
Minneapolis
Xavier
North.
plays in Minneapolis North. Kakana's
Yeah.
Minnetonka, and then Spash is Minnehaha. A lot of minis.
Yeah, yes.
So
Now,
that-
why is Stevens Point Area Senior High School happy? Is it because they wanted to make it Spash? Is
No,
it
don't-
because
don't-
I know they have Plover, I know they have teams, but you know what? Kimberly has Greenville. Are they going to call themselves Kimberly Area Senior
mean
High?
Hortonville?
Cash.
I don't know.
Cash.
No,
No,
listen.
there's Greenville kids that go to Kimberly.
Quit taking
Yeah.
J.R. Radcliffe's material here on Facebook.
No, I was actually wondering myself because I call him Stevens Point. Sometimes I call him Spash for
No, it's okay.
brevity's sake, but
I don't mind Stevens Point, but I hate Stevens Point High School. It is
Oh,
Stevens
okay.
Point
All right.
Area Senior High. They go out to like Millador, Junction City. They
Yeah.
go out to Polonia to the east.
Seymour does that too with Black Creek. I mean,
Well, and you have
all of a sudden,
lighting and
Stevens Point has to have
Clover.
their special little name. When every team kind of pulls in from surrounding area
Everybody's
communities.
just jealous.
No one's
Rosie,
jealous.
because
Yeah.
it is a nice, snappy acronym.
Yeah.
The Spash
Spash.
Panthers.
Kimberly,
Spash.
Kimberly Area Senior High would be better. Cash.
Cash, man, make it rain.
I'm just
Make it
telling
That's
you.
what J.R. Radcliffe said about Kakana because he's from Sherwood.
Oh, right.
Sherwood,
Okay.
Because he said the same thing just now on Twitter. He wants to call it Kakana Area Senior High and call it Cash.
There you go.
Cash, yeah.
Too bad.
So then
You
Spash,
can't have what we have.
Yeah, Spash could really be the first school that had open enrollment because you get everybody from the. Well, technically,
at Amro, we pulled in from Waukon, Eureka, little communities. Oash.
Oash.
Amro
Yeah.
Area Senior
Quit
High.
trying to be something you're not.
Oash.
Only Spash.
Oh,
Or if
Oash.
Winnicott, Wash.
Oash, it's like
Boy, this is
Spash,
great.
but-
It can come up with anything here. All right, that's enough, folks.
All I can say is three-peat. Spash Panthers, 3-time state champs. It's going to end this year. but 3 times.
Hey, it was a great run.
What we had,
and we had a great time covering them because they're kind of like our adopted.
They're great
kind of our adopted school.
Yeah. And you know what, Rosie, you love going to Stevens Point because of that little pizza place downtown.
Let's hope we can do that on the 27th. Then
we have to make it happen.
Okay.
If we have to stall a game, we can do that just to make it over there.
I'm looking forward to that. So 3 games in one day. That's going to be a lot of basketball, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And
it is.
And that almost takes us to the end of January.
Yeah, speaking of the end, it's the end of our show. I'm going to quickly give out our Twitter accounts. Brett's at PC Brettsy. I'm at PC Ricardo. And don't forget about Rosie at Metal Rosie. Again, next week, or actually I should say, I forgot to mention, later on tonight, we're having Kimberly Girls Hoops come in.
The whole team, right?
Yeah, Elena Hampton. The whole team's going to be in here.
How do you say her first name?
Elena.
It is Elena, but it looks like Alina.
Elena, right, but it's Elena. Elena Hampton. I'll probably get it wrong. I probably did get it wrong. I'm pronouncing it wrong still. But either way, they're going to be on the show, so really excited to have them on, one of the top contenders in the FEA. We'll talk to them about how their season's going.
Coach Cullen going to be here?
I don't know that for sure, but it'll be a packed house in here, though, because, the Kimberly girls get a little crazy. We had the volleyball team in here earlier in the fall. They brought a lot of kids.
I like it when the studio's packed, Rosie.
I know, so do I.
We'll
have a cam. Well, somebody will have a cam.
We hope to. 7 o'clock tonight. So, Brett, don't get your sports props ready to throw at our camera. Again, next week, check out us again for another edition of the R&B Show next Wednesday at 12 on Facebook.com.
I got to say, plug real quick, Kimberly Kakana Boys, Friday night. We're going to be there.
Yes.
7:15 approximate tip time. So watch it on postcrescent.com and Facebook.com/postcrescent. All right.
Until then, see you next week here for another episode of the R&B Show.
Here I go.
You hit it, man. Your arm. I mean, you're incredible. Oh, that was actually a
little
better
high.
shot.
A little high.
A little better shot, though. All right.
See
ya.
I tried.